What up, YouTubers? Joe's Coral Reef here. I'm going to be showing you a lot of this. Well, not all that. But mainly, my tank is packed with Frogspawn. This is my Solana 34-gallon all-in-one. Not really complicated. I try to keep it simple. I don't have a sump. I do have a skimmer, and within the last year I have added a doser based on my requirements. But besides that, it's just basically I keep water changes. I don't run carbon. I don't run phosphate remover. For cleaning, I will throw a filter pad in the box, scrape the glass, change the water, and then be done with it. It started with, see that head of Frogspawn, the top one? Half of that amount. And I've probably fragged this thing, I don't know how many times, all this Frogspawn. It seems to like the coral and the water, or the light and the water parameters. It's got a great green color with pink tips. That Tunze in 6040, you can really see it just moving it. Really cool. You can see in this picture, see the left head's gone. This is a newer one than the video, the short clip I had before this. I've sold off some of it, and it was amazing. It did mess with my elk. When the moonlights come on, the color changes even more. So with the Kessil controller I have, bring up the blues, bring down the whites. And look at the green, really comes out. It just glows. It looks artificial. So I enjoy having this Frogspawn coral. I only have one fish in there. Fish is always up in there. I don't know where it's at. I don't know if I can even see it in this video. So it goes all the way to the top. It's going to need to be fragged again. I'll have to break off some little frags. Water changes. I do Aqua Forest Reef Salt. I like the way that stuff mixes up. Here I have the pump off, and you can see it just kind of expands and plumps up. There's my clown. Not the only corals I have in the tank, though. I do have other corals. Let's see what else I got. I got some stuff along the side here. Kenya tree. I've had this one. This came from the tank before this one. It's always been in the bottom. It hasn't spawned. A lot of people say it just goes crazy and drops petals. I haven't had the problem. I have not actually seen it spawn once. I'm glad it doesn't, because I've heard it's a nuisance coral. Maybe it's because I keep it in the bottom and there's probably like no par from the Kessil. But for now, it's staying in the bottom. I always have a lot of frags. So these are just the branches that I've had from fragging the Frogspawn. The one on the right's a little older, but the one on the left, if you look, you can see the little buds of Frogspawn. It's just like 6 or 7 tiny little petals. It's just awesome the way it grows up, and it grows that branch, just consuming that calcium. Pretty awesome. I love the green in this one on the right. Just that bright fluorescent green. And that's really low par. That's on the bottom from the Kessil. Not a lot of par at all. So the other corals I have in the tank, I have these Ehiem I've had a while, maybe a year. They started with just little $10 frags. These were just orange, and they've developed this green ring around the outside. Pretty awesome. These red ones, they haven't grown as well as the orange ones. The orange ones have really grown. The red ones have plumped up. I don't feed them. I don't feed them at all. This green one, so under white light in the camera, it doesn't do it justice, doesn't have the color, but see when you turn the moonlights on, it has these color stripes in there and color stripes in the mouth. Really cool. I like the Ehiem. Easy coral. You know, it doesn't have a lot of requirements. The Goniopora on the side there, I don't know what happened with that one. I bought that one. That was like instantly died. I mean, it died from when they put it in the tank. It just was dead. So my Frogspawn, my clown, more recently, is just, he's all in it now. Let's see her here. She is just all in that Frogspawn. It doesn't seem to be bothered by it. I don't see, you know, I haven't had brown jelly problems. It doesn't retract at all during the day. At night, she will nestle her way in between the branches and sleep in there. I've seen some stuff on her, some white stuff. This is sand. This is from her kicking up the sand. But, so she's had to adjust to the frog spawn, but she seems to like it. So she's training. She's training for the rock throwing competition that they do in Scotland. She's been working on that lately. This is so funny. I mean, you will hear some clanking from across the room, and it's her in there moving something around, tossing it around. This rock apparently is not in the right position. Yeah. Also, acceleration, speed test. This is constantly, when I bring out the camera, she goes to the sand bed and she stirs up the sand. Like she knows, hey, jerk, you're going to take a picture? I'm going to throw some sand in there. I've had the clown, I'm going to think 9 years. I started it, it was tiny in a biocube. The stripes went all the way around her. Now they're broken. She's all orange on the bottom. Yeah, she's really grown. I'm going to take her to the next tank I built. So I do have some other things in here. Halloween crab in my Trochus snails. It's unfortunate. These Trochus are great snails, but I turned off the Tunze for feeding. They're quick. They got in there. They were cleaning the impeller, and it turned itself on. Well, it got hit. So the crab had some food out of it. So my equipment. So I started with the Kessil 350. You know, it was white and blue, and you could just turn it on and off. And then I upgraded to the 360AW, or 360A, or A360WE, and it's tunable with the Spectral controller. I love the ramping functions up and down, daylight, moonlight, really cool. The Frogspawn really likes it. I mean, what a view. It's just crazy the amount of growth I've had out of this Frogspawn. So there's probably the only coralline I've had in the tank. It doesn't grow very much. I think the Frogspawn must be sucking up the elk. So there's some probes. I did have a Profilux on here. I'm not using it now. There's some probes from it. I've got an ATO. At one point we were making these ATOs. It was a snail with an optical sensor. Yeah, it took some damage, so I had to throw some hot glue on the top there. But it looks pretty good. I like the optical sensors. I think that's the way to go with an ATO. Magnetic. So for the lines, I just wrap them around the back. So the first one's the water, calcium, alkalinity, mag. And what I did was I took 1/8" tube, heated it up, bent it, and then I put the silicone tube around there. And I used heat shrink tubing just to fit it over the end. I didn't even heat the heat shrink tubing. I just fit it. And then when it was hot, I clamped the end of these to prevent any funk getting in there. They work really well. They just clip over the glass. Cost me barely anything. So the heaters, I always use Ehiem heaters. I like them. I will replace it once a year, just on the safe side. This is my Tunze 9001 skimmer. I mean, with these biocubes, the problem is not choosing the right skimmer. It's just finding one that fits. So, electrical outlets. There's my Spectral controller. There's the 5-gallon ATO tank I have. I keep towels here. This is my Tunze 6040 controller, just running on some kind of random program. And there's the box for the ATO. There's status lights on there to know if the water's empty or it's filling. So that's all that's underneath the cabinet. Pretty simple. There's a little tray underneath there for wet stuff. So this is my dosing setup. So I have magnesium, calcium, and alkalinity. The doser's pretty good. I had the 2.0 version. This is the 2.1. You know, it's got the website, the app. You know, I really just wish the sensors and stuff weren't so expensive. I'd love to add the ATO feature to this. I'd love to add a temperature sensor. But for the price, it's just crazy. But what can you do? So, thank you for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'll end it here with a single snail. I've got one of these. I have no idea what it is. He seems to be growing well, although he took some damage. He's missing a tentacle. But thank you for watching this video. This is, you know, CJ's Reef, Rico, Inappropriate Reefer, Miss Saltwater. Right, you guys inspired me to make this video, so I threw it out. Hopefully I'll make more videos. Hopefully you guys like it, subscribe. I got a new build coming up. I'd like to do YouTube videos. I'm out. See ya. Nope, don't forget the equipment list. There we go.